The infamous cult leader is dead at 83. Known for convincing his followers to commit heinous murders, Manson spent nearly a half-century in prison.
President Trump is sending a clear message to Senate Republicans on the tax reform bill. Don't disappoint the American people.
This is a big cut for the middle income.
I'm very optimistic we're going to get it done before we're opening up presents on Christmas Eve.
President Trump is reigniting his call to build a wall after a Border Patrol agent is killed in the line of duty. The 36-year-old Martinez had been a Border Patrol agent since 2013.
Well, another week of anthem protests across the NFL. Raiders running back Marshawn Lynch sitting for the anthem while playing in Mexico City. But when Mexico's anthem played, Lynch decided to stand.
We love this high school marching band from Naples, Florida, the Palmetto Ridge Marching Band, and so do you, because last year it was announced that they were invited to perform at Donald Trump's inauguration, but they would need $135,000 to make the trip from Florida up to our nation's capital. They didn't have the money until they came on Fox and Friends.
Wow. So a little bit later, we're going to have Marco Rubio is going to be joining us, giving us the latest on tax reform, and we have a lot to talk about in terms of the people, the Republicans that are not on board, and is there a chance that some so-called moderate Democrats will put this plan over the top? Perhaps are they ready to jump in?
No.
You don't think so?
No, absolutely.
I mean, the president's been working the phones with them.
But they don't want him to get a win. They want to take both houses of the Congress next year, and they don't want to help him at all. Let's talk to Kellyanne Conway. She's a counselor to the President of the United States. She joins us from our nation's capital on this Monday of Thanksgiving week. Kellyanne, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, so the President tweeted out yesterday, hey, Congress, don't disappoint the American people on tax reform. How close are we to finally getting a tax cut?
We feel very confident, but it is up to those legislators who for years, if not decades, have been promising their constituents they're going to get meaningful tax cuts and tax overhaul. And we're very happy that the House and Senate have come up with what I call Trump speed, not swamp speed, in getting their bills to the floor fairly quickly. We feel really great that both bills adhere to the President's 4 core principles for tax cuts and tax relief, repatriation, simplification, middle-class tax cut, and reducing that corporate tax rate so that we're below the average for developed countries instead of the highest in the entire OECD. So we feel great. My colleagues and I have been traveling around the country, as has the President, and up on Capitol Hill constantly. This one feels like everybody's oriented in the same direction. And to your point about the Democrats, the President has said from day one he wants tax cuts to be bipartisan. That's a question for the Democrats. Surely there are business owners and taxpayers and property owners, moms and dads and moms and pops in every state in this country who feel they deserve a tax cut. So we hope petty partisan politics will not get in the way.
But partisan politics is getting in the way, and Democrats don't want to give the President a win.
Well, that's too bad because it's a win for the American people. This is not about a win for the President. This is about giving the forgotten man or forgotten woman who put this man into office because they've been forgotten for decades through regulation and taxation and just the overbearance of a government that's too intrusive, invasive, expensive, and expansive. This is for them. And this is not about giving the President a win. That's silly. He's the President. He won. It's a tell Hillary Clinton, by the way, P.S. But this is about people winning. And I do hope in the legacy of Presidents John Kennedy, Ronald Reagan, George W. Bush, even much smaller tax cut, but that we have bipartisan support. We've always been able to rely upon that. I think the Democrats are in big trouble because they have to defend 25 Senate seats next year, 10 in states the President won, 5 he won by massive double digits. They're going to go home and say, when I had a chance to give you more of your hard-earned money, give you a child care tax credit, an adult dependent, double your personal exemption so your first $24,000 is completely tax-free at 0%. They're going to say, but I didn't do it because of XYZ when we know it's for petty partisan political reasons. And Doug Jones in Alabama, folks, don't be fooled. He'll be a vote against tax cuts. He's weak on crime, weak on borders. He's strong on raising your taxes. He's terrible for property owners.
So
and Doug Jones is a doctrinaire liberal, which is why he's not saying anything and why the media are trying to boost him.
So vote Roy Moore?
I'm telling you that we want the votes in the Senate to get this tax bill through. And the media, if the media were really concerned about all these allegations and that what this was truly about, and the Democrats, Al Franken would be on the ash heap of bygone half-funny comedians. He wouldn't be here in Capitol Hill. He still has his job. What's Bob Menendez doing back here? That's the best my state of New Jersey can do. Huh, Doocy? You live there.
But,
let me tell you something.
But I'm just saying
this
the
guy,
RNC
Doug
has
Jones,
withdrawn support for Roy Moore.
is a doctrinaire liberal. Excuse me?
But the RNC has withdrawn support for Roy Moore. Mitch McConnell's withdrawn support. So has the young Republicans withdrawn support for Roy Moore.
And a lot of women.
Right. And you know what? I just want everybody to know Doug Jones. Nobody ever says his name. And they pretend that he's some kind of conservative Democrat in Alabama, and he's not.
Kellyanne.
And yes.
Will the president be going back down to Alabama to campaign on behalf of Roy Moore before the special election?
There's no plan to do that. The president is going to continue traveling around the country on tax cuts and other issues, yes.
Kellyanne, there's 6 Republicans that have concerns about this tax reform or tax cut bill. You have Corker, Flake, Senator Johnson, Murkowski, Collins, and Senator McCain. They all have different reasons. And I want to play some sound bites for you. The first one is Susan Collins saying she hasn't supported him from the beginning. And then this was also Senator Jeff Flake. We've butted these sound bites together when he was caught on a hot mic. Listen to this.
President Trump was not my choice for the Republican nominee for president. I want to see changes in that bill, and I think there will be changes. There are some provisions of the House bill that I like better. There are provisions of both bills that I like, but I think the bill needs work.
Come the party of Roy Moore and Donald Trump. We are the post.
So what is your reaction to that? I mean, Senator Flake's not running for re-election. He clearly doesn't support the president. And then Susan Collins, she has health care that she's concerned with in her state.
I'm very happy that Senator Collins is coming forth now and expressing some of the ways she thinks that the final bill can be improved, including weaving in some of those provisions from the House bill, which she says she personally prefers. We'd prefer to have those conversations and those debates now than just have somebody show up and be a no vote. That's why the president himself went over to Congress last week. That's why my colleagues and I are there nonstop, out in the hustings, out bringing the case to the American people and taking in their inputs and their ideas and reflecting that in this bill. But in the end, especially with people like Senator Johnson, who's concerned about small businesses, it comes to explaining what's in there for small businesses. Yeah. A 25% rate, the lowest tax rate on our moms and pop small businesses. I was an S Corp for 22 years. You reinvest that money in your company. Right. You buy better inventory, you pay benefits, you're able to attract and retain a workforce that's compensated well and that you can compete with the big guys. The 17.4% deduction for small businesses, the 100% expensing for 5 years, these are all very attractive features to the folks who show up to work before dawn and go home long after dusk.
And right, Kellyanne, I watched the whole Collins interview. She is absolutely gettable. She's getting her hands dirty in this. That was something about personal behavior and who she picked her in the primaries. But also Corker, I understand, and Ivanka and you are doing a lot of work to win over some of those others. Are doing some honest look into the tax plan because they realize it's about the country, not about who's president. Meanwhile, the president did weigh in and tweeted this out in regards to running back Marshawn Lynch of the Raiders taking a knee during the sitting down during the national anthem and standing for the Mexican national anthem. He says this: Marshawn Lynch of the NFL's Oakland Raiders stands for the Mexican national anthem, sits down for hours. Great disrespect. Next time, NFL should suspend him for the remainder of the season. Attendance and ratings way down. So how do you feel about the president weighing in here?
The president has been consistent about this from the very beginning. And look at what's happened to many of these teams, the NFL viewership and attendance at these games. You know what? We have a saying in our house anyway. I think it's a pretty good one. You take a knee for the Lord and you stand for the flag. Many Americans agree with that. And the president has been very consistent about this. And every president, look at the last one, they become involved in some of the cultural and social questions of the day. Right. There's no way to avoid it. And I think many Americans agree with that. And look, if you want to express your viewpoint, and the average NFL player, as I understand it, makes about $2 million a year. That gentleman probably makes far higher and far more. there are so many ways for you to get civically involved. There more than 5 seconds before a game. There are so many ways for you to participate and animate youth and educate them and engage them. And I mean, the NFL has taken a big hit reputation-wise. They're in a world of hurt. I'm glad the Philadelphia Eagles are 9-1, by the way. But the fact is that I hope Roger Goodell, the NFL, maybe they'll work with us on big initiatives like combating the opioid epidemic and drug demand. That would be terrific. Roger Goodell has publicly said that he'd like to, quote, move on from this, and I bet he would. So he can call us. We can call him and say, hey, can we get you involved in something, all sports, something as big that affects our youth as drug demand reduction.
The commissioner wants them to stand. The players' union doesn't.
Kellyanne, we wanted to ask you about this. We had a union representative on Friday of last week representing ICE officers who felt that the president had betrayed them in this new secretary for the Department of Homeland Security. They liked General Kelly when he was there, but then now he's your chief of staff. And they feel like the new secretary, Kristen Nelson, is an Obama-era holdover, a lawyer, little experience, didn't back President Trump when he was running, back Jeb, and wasn't really for the wall. So what are these people in this union who are not feeling so good about the leadership there? What are they getting wrong?
Well, that was one person, and I want to say I thought that was an incredibly regrettable and error-riddled interview. First of all, I serve with General Kelly, and I serve with Kirstjen Nielsen. That is her name. Everybody ought to learn how to pronounce it because she's about to be our Secretary of Homeland Security, and she's going to do an amazing job there. She testified under oath how she feels about all these issues. People can go and pull that testimony. She's strong, she's smart. I get a little tired of women having to doubly prove themselves, but that's okay. We're up to the task, and obviously we survive and thrive here. But Kirstjen Nielsen will be in the likeness of General Kelly. In those first 6 months on that job for General Kelly, he worked on the travel ban, getting that wall built, and keeping our homeland secure. Think of all the things that you're dealing with here. The ports, the border. We have 90% of our heroin comes through the southern border. We have poison coming over the border constantly. She's going to be, and that was, I thought that was a very regrettable interview. Look at what happened last night with the border agent murdered, and God rest his soul. It brings into sharp relief how important it is for us to get Ms. Nielsen confirmed quickly, and there are many border agents, many, who are very happy this president, under his leadership, illegal boarding crossings are down, drugs are being turned away. We have a lot of work to do, but the fact is this president is committed to building that wall. We hope Congress hears him. He has a 70-point immigration plan that anybody can pull up as soon as this interview is over and see how tough he's going to be. 1,000 additional ICE agents. Yes.
Kellyanne, thank you very much.
Thanks,
We're
Kellyanne.
just about out of time.
A Fox News alert. Extra police heading to Tampa right now to join the manhunt for that serial killer. Can cops find him?
Hi, we have a Fox News alert. Authorities going door to door searching for clues on a potential serial killer in Tampa.
4 people are dead, and a desperate manhunt is underway.
Former homicide detective and Fox News contributor Ted Williams has the latest on the investigation. He's live down in Tampa. Hey, Ted, we've seen some surveillance video. It just looks like surveillance video to us. When you look at it, what do you see?
Well, I think this is going to be crucial in probably solving these crimes. The individual in the October 9th surveillance video seemed to be using his right hand as he walked. The individual in the November 14th video seemed to fit the same description of the person in the October 9th video.
All right, these murders happen within a mile of each other. So besides that, is there any other pattern we can ascertain from this?
Just somewhat. These murders seem to have occurred, number one, at night. Number two, around a bus stop. And number three, when the area itself appears to be isolated.
What is the mood in that area, and what's that neighborhood like?
Ainsley, it's sad because this seemed to be a very wonderful neighborhood. But this neighborhood now is paralyzed. And you see at night, I came through here last night, individuals had their porch lights on, There were not a lot of people out on the streets. They're hoping that law enforcement will continue to saturate this area and catch this killer.
Absolutely. People are locking their doors at night, and there is a gigantic reward for information leading to the arrest of him. Ted, thank you very much for joining us live from Tampa on this Monday.
Authorities have asked all the neighbors to keep their lights on. All right, coming up, brand new calls to build that wall from President Trump after a Border Patrol agent is murdered. Details on that next.
And instead of taking a knee, football icon Herschel Walker is taking a stand for our heroes. He's live in the plaza to tell us about that and that Silverado truck.
Welcome back. Hope you're having a good start to your day. We have two Fox News alerts. Charles Manson, the infamous cult leader, dead at 83, passing away overnight at a California hospital of natural causes. Manson, known for convincing his followers to commit heinous murders, the group going on a two-day killing spree, taking 7 lives in Los Angeles in the late 1960s. 3 of the 4 cult members are alive, 2 of them still behind bars. Manson spent nearly half a century in prison. Also breaking right now, President Trump renewing calls for a border wall after a Border Patrol agent is killed on the job. Rogelio Martinez, fatally injured responding to, quote, activity near the Mexican border in Texas. His partner remains hospitalized in serious condition. It's unclear exactly what happened. President Trump responding to the incident, tweeting, quote, "We will seek out and bring to justice those responsible. We will and must build that wall." Now outside to Ainsley, Steve and Brian.
Thank you so much. Well, the NFL anthem protest continues with Raiders running back Marshawn Lynch sitting for our national anthem while playing down in Mexico City. But he stood for Mexico's anthem.
And he wasn't alone. 3 Miami Dolphins knelt in protest, as did a Giants player yesterday.
But instead of taking a knee, our next guest is standing tall for American heroes with a very special contest. But before we get to that, Herschel Walker, Heisman Trophy winner and NFL superstar, thanks so much for joining us. And you're going to be fighting another UFC fight.
Well, I'll say one more. I'll do one more fight.
All right, why not? Because you haven't done enough. But Herschel, when you heard about Marshawn taking a seat in Mexico City, what's your reaction?
I was insulted. I was insulted because I don't know whether he's taking this as a joke, which I think he is, because this is very serious. And I think, and I said earlier on, the commissioner should have took a hand on this at the very beginning. He should have said, everyone stand, and at the end of the season, we'll go to Washington and do something about it.
Yeah, of course, famously, it was about a month and a half ago that the President of the United States, Donald Trump, who you used to work for when he ran that football team, he weighed in on it. He tweeted out regarding Marshawn today that next time he should be suspended.
Well, I've been saying that guy should have been suspended at the beginning because, right now, I've been working with the military for 8 years, and I don't care what people say. The national anthem is the United States of America. That's where you live. That's where we get everything that we have here in the United States.
That's just one thing you never protest.
No, I think you never protest that.
And now you're doing something great for the troops and for heroes here in this country. What are you doing?
Well, what we're trying to do is give away this wonderful truck. It was hand-painted by Tex McDermott, and we're going to give it away to active military, veterans, and first responders because they don't really get enough, I think, enough rewards. I think they've been criticized so much for all the good things that they're doing, so I wanted to give away a truck from Rocket Ridge Trucking, and they're going to give away a truck.
Wow, and it says true American hero right here. I don't know if you can make it out. So what's the criteria to nominate someone and make it eligible to win this?
Well, the criteria is that if you're an active military or you're a veteran or first responder, you can go on to rocketridgegive.com and you can register your American hero, and February 28th, register by then. There's going to be just 6 committee that we're going to go in and vote who's going to win this truck.
What constitutes a hero these days?
Well, I think what constitutes a hero, in my opinion, I've had an opportunity to go down to the military, somebody that's going to give for someone else. I've been a Christian. I've loved the Lord Jesus all my whole life, and it's more about giving to someone else. And right now, that's what we need in this country right now. We need something that's given to someone else rather than yourself. And an American hero for me is a military active serviceman or a police officer. Police officers are not getting the credit they deserve, and that's a hero to me.
Just kind of interesting to talk to you, Herschel, because we're in the middle of the NFL controversy. You also knew the president as an NFL owner, as a football owner in the USFL, and you also knew him as an apprentice. Who's the guy you know?
Well, the guy I know is a good man, and I think for him to be elected as president, I think it was wonderful. But I think the people got to give him an opportunity to be the president. One thing that we have to do is respect the White House. I don't care what you do. We were born here in the United States of America. This is the most wonderful country in the world, and if this is a wonderful country in the world, why don't we do what we're supposed to do? And that's respect the White House, because one thing great about this, we can vote him out if we don't like him in 4 more years. Right. But if we continue to do what we're doing, we may not get a chance to vote.
When they call the president a racist, what's your reaction?
He's not a racist. I've known, I was going to say Donald for years, but I said President Trump. I've known President Trump since '82. And, little Donald and little Ivanka was with me. I took him to every amusement park, Disney World, and everything. And he's not a racist. I think that's the excuse people use. He's a good man. So I think they need to give him a chance, because he was elected as our president. He was elected as our president, whether people want to say popular vote or not, he was our president.
What is the necklace you're wearing?
The necklace is it's a heart. It's really an angel. It's Michael the guardian angel, because like I said, I've been blessed. I've been blessed all my life, and that's the reason I want to give away this wonderful truck to guys that do great things for me.
So we nominate people at that site, right?
You know what I love about you and your message? You're a true hero, because so many kids look up to you as an NFL player, as a Heisman Trophy winner. You deserve that trophy. Thank you for speaking out about your faith, being thankful for this country, the red, white, and blue. It's beautiful.
Well, thank you. And I tell you, the heroes are people that go down range, that have bullets and bombs going off every night, but they get up and do one wonderful job.
So where are you born?
I was born in Georgia. I'm a Georgia boy.
Do you know anything about the Georgia Dome?
The Georgia Dome is a wonderful place.
Right. Did you know it's being imploded right now?
Can I say
used to be. This is a Fox News alert. We're taking it down. As you can see right there, Herschel, that is the Georgia Dome. But with the construction of the Atlanta Falcons' new Mercedes-Benz Stadium moving closer to completion, they are planning to implode it. As you can see,
are you ready to see this?
Certain portions of the Georgia Dome.
But I learned from Jerry Jones that best to get rid of the old one, because no one would ever come to the new one if you don't get rid of the old one.
Is that what he always said? That's why I got rid of the other place. Here's the other thing. For one last time, if you're inside and watching us, please get out. It's about to collapse on top of you.
Apparently, the Falcons had put on hold a decommissioning until there were no doubts the facility would be ready for the 2017 season. It will be, and here she goes. Watch.
And by the way, it's going to be converted to a green space to tailgate, and
that's what we do best down in the South.
Yes. That means you're going to put a little thing there to show where the stadium once stood, and people are going to be drinking there.
2 Super Bowls there. Do you have any memories?
I do. I tell you, I have a lot of memories, because there was a high school football played there, and I think there was a young woman that was one of the best kickers in high school in that Georgia Dome there.
Wow. Well, and it means a lot to the people there.
How far away did you grow up?
I grew up about 2.5 hours from Atlanta, so I sat down where if you got 1 year to live, you move to my hometown.
All right, that's great. Do you go back a lot?
I go back a lot. My mom is still there.
Your mom's still there?
My mom's still there.
She's proud
I still remember in your doorstep announcing that you're coming out as a junior.
Oh,
and that is it. I am going pro, and it's USFL.
Yes.
Well, it's going to be the end of an era. We're told that in the next few seconds, they've closed off all the roads in the area. The neighbors have been forewarned. The new facility, which is right there next to it, will be home to the MLS Atlanta United, which will will have a Falcons preseason game against Arizona on August the 20th.
And by the way, it's the same owner. It's the same owner that owns the MLS team, that owns the football team, so he's building it all.
You know, at our college, we have our stadium, next to our stadium, all the green spaces, people buy them and they convert them to great tailgating spots. You can buy a parking lot in there. They're very lucrative. Is it the same in the NFL?
It's the same as the NFL. And one thing that's great about this Georgia Dome, a lot of people don't realize, when you do the parking lot, you can see the game going on. The Jumbotron, you can see from outside of that stadium.
Wow.
So you can sit outside and tailgate and watch the game. You don't even go in.
You know, the Georgia Dome might have gotten a stay from the president. Maybe they had played for the governor. And maybe they had second thoughts about blowing it up. Right.
So the Mercedes-Benz Arena is right next to it, Herschel?
Yes, the Mercedes-Benz Stadium right next to it. And I tell you, that is a wonderful, wonderful stadium. A matter of fact, I gave away a car at the opening game of that stadium.
You give away a lot of cars.
I give away a lot of cars. I give away a lot of cars.
So we were told it was going to happen within 5 seconds, and of course that didn't happen. So any minute it's going to blow up.
3 minutes ago.
What's your advice to kids that are watching that have a dream of playing in the NFL?
Well, my advice is continue to work hard. My advice is never give up your dream. Don't let anyone tell you that you can't.
There it goes.
I'm living proof you can.
Whoa.
There you go.
Wow.
I guess there's a way to do this. It seems kind of organized for an explosion.
Let's listen. The whole idea is for it to implode, just explode straight down so that it doesn't damage anything around it.
It's so much quicker than taking it down piece by piece.
It looks like...
I mean, do they tell people in the surrounding area, close your windows, close your mouth, don't breathe this in?
They've known about that for a very long time.
Right.
Well, there you go.
So there it goes. For the people of Atlanta, Georgia, I didn't think that other place looked too bad. I was shocked that they were blowing this up to build a new one.
Well, it's not that old. That's what I was thinking. I don't think that stadium is not that old. That's what's so weird about it.
Are we sure we want to do this?
But doesn't it come down to the new one probably has more luxury skyboxes?
That's exactly right. And I think that's what it's all for money, because that's where the owners make their money. That's right. Is from the skyboxes.
And you just wonder, too, how much the state had to kick in, if anything. But as Arthur Blank is the owner of that team, he's got cutting-edge facilities. Of course, his team went to the Super Bowl a year ago, and they had this to build off on. They're not having the same season this year, however.
Oh, yes, that's exactly right. Right now, they're having a tough season. But I tell you, they got time. They got time to turn it around.
Right.
You know, you think about those kids that played in that stadium when they were 18 years old, or I guess 20 when they were drafted or whatever, 21. They played in that stadium. Now it's gone. They did this for the Coliseum, where we had all of our journalism classes at the University of South Carolina.
It's all about progress.
It's all about progress. Hey, I hate it when they got rid of the Texas stadium, but the stadium Jerry got now is wonderful.
One more time, Herschel, how do we get involved with your heroes?
You can go to rocketridgegive.com, register your veterans, active military and first responder.
Right, and this is the first time you've ever done color commentating on an impending explosion. Right?
Oh, my first time ever doing that.
And you did great. Herschel Walker with the Georgia background. Good job.
There it goes. All right.
Herschel, I know you said you support the president. There's a band that wanted to go to the inauguration. And this is when a lot of famous people and bands were pulling out. They didn't want to be there.
Yes.
This high school right there, they came on our show. They asked people to go on the GoFundMe page. They needed, what was it, $130,000 to go?
And there it is, the presidential inauguration. They had a chance to go. The president was there to salute.
That's right. So we're kicking off a week of giving thanks here during the Thanksgiving week, taking a look back at some of the great causes our viewers helped with this year.
That's right. Joining us live from Naples, Florida is the band director, Annabelle Saraminto, Palmetto Ridge High School principal, John Brimseth, and head drum major, Adrian A-Tiles, I believe is how you say it, and the entire Palmetto Ridge Marching Band. Thank you so much for being here. What does this mean 1 year later?
Adrian?
1 year later, it really means a lot to me, because I thought I had a really good experience, and it was a wonderful time to be able to be a part of something so historic, and to be part of such a great band, and to be able to do that with my band.
Annabelle, let's go back to about a year ago when you got the invitation and you thought this is going to change all these kids' lives. Oh, wait a minute, we don't have the money. How do we tell them we can't go? And then what did you do?
Well, of course I was very concerned about all of that, but, you know, I just tried to be positive, and we were just hoping that the students would be able to fundraise their way, and that maybe we could get some support from the community. So when that turned into a lot of support from the community and the country, it was just really overwhelming and just a wonderful experience.
And John, as the principal, what was it like for these students when they finally got the inauguration, the president noticed them and respects them and even knows their story?
Well, I think it was a great experience. I mean, it's a life-changing experience. For the opportunity to be able to attend an inauguration, to be a part of that process and part of that proceeds was a great experience for the students, for the chaperones, for everyone that was involved, and a great representation from Palmetto Ridge High School.
Surely. And John, while you're right there talking to us, tell a little bit about how a GoFundMe page had been started, and you got some money, but then when you came on Fox and Friends, how it really kind of started to snowball.
Yeah, that was an amazing day. So they started the GoFundMe page, and we were kind of trucking along, you know, donations here and there. But when Fox decided to feature the band and the decision to go, within 1 day we had the amount of money in the GoFundMe page that enabled all of our students to go for free.
Our viewers are so supportive and so loyal. We have the best viewers out there. Annabelle, what was your reaction when you saw all that money come in?
I was just in shock. The phones at the school were ringing off the hook, and it was just really exciting. And then to constantly see the donations come in online was just, again, overwhelming, and I was just so grateful that there were so many viewers out there and people that were willing to support our students. It was great.
So I understand you have a performance all for us. It's all lined up. The sheet music is on the right page for Something Blue. Am I correct, Adrian?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
All right.
Yeah, this is the last part of our show from this year, so it's called Something Blue.
Well, you know what? We're done talking from New York. How about you take it away down there in Naples, Florida?
All right, Trevor.